There's a certain sound to the premier hitters.
He did it again! He's a beast!
Oh, wow. Pete Alonso crushes one.
He is locked in. Loud sound off the bat.
It is gone!
Trey Mancini is on fire.
Home run! Salvador Perez! See you later!
How far is this one gonna fly?
Good evening. Welcome to the very first episode of Payoff Pitch from the Action Network. This is presented by our friends at DraftKings. We are launching All-Star Week, folks. We got dingers, so many dingers in the Home Run Derby tonight. That is what we are here for. We're going to break it all down. We're going to talk about the picks. We're going to talk about the analysis. We're going to talk about the research. There is no better way to find out how to obsess over the Home Run Derby than this show right here, right now, with Collin Wilson, with Sean Zerillo, with BJ Cunningham. Before we get to the best bets, let's first talk about the bracket system. Collin Wilson, you got a lot of thoughts about how MLB has very smartly turned this into more of a bracket scenario. And naturally, you've thought very hard about how this impacts all the handicapping. Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, everybody should realize if you're an old school baseball fan, it used to be head-to-head competition 50 years ago on black and white TV, and then it used to be just 10 outs. If you get 10 outs, then you're done. That's enough. But things have changed. Single elimination bracket for 3 rounds. First 2 rounds are 3 minutes apiece. The championship round is 2 minutes. A home run over 475 feet earns you a 30-second bonus. Any other bombs over 475, you get a max of 60 seconds bonus. So there's some strategy involved with hitting bombs here. There is one 45-second timeout. Very important, especially for people like Pete Alonso that won in 2019. He used that against Ronald Acuna to win in the semifinals. That's the rules and the format of today's game.
All right. I'm smiling just because I know how deep you go into every element of betting. The fact that you broke this down and thought about the timeouts, thought about the impact of points for longer bombs, all of that, it just makes me happy. And I think it's going to make all the new viewers looking to make money on the Home Run Derby tonight very happy. Let's quickly break down the odds from our friends at DraftKings. Listen, Shohei Ohtani is getting all the pub right now because every single time he just steps to the plate, it feels like he is doing measuring tape dingers. He's at plus 230. Joey Gallo, plus 350. Pete Alonso, plus 500. It goes on from there. Matt Olson, plus 525. Let's get to the best bets. Let's get to dingers. Appropriate name for a segment. Collin Wilson, you're up first.
I'm going to go with Joey Gallo, somebody that's taking steam right now. He has a launch angle of 21. That's easily the highest of any competitor. And for those of you that don't know what launch angle is, that really means like how much lift is there on the ball. And with Joey Gallo having the highest launch angle of anybody in this field, that means he has the least amount of adjustments to make to his swing. That's extremely important here. Some people have to change so much. But the Rangers third base coach, Tony Beasley, also overcame cancer 5 years ago, became very close to Joey Gallo, had chemotherapy in Surprise, Arizona during spring training. So this is a really emotional, triumphant thing for both Gallo and for his pitching coach tonight. Gallo got the day off on Sunday yesterday. He didn't play in Arlington against the A's, but he did have a little mini home run derby contest with Matt Olson before the game. If there's anybody hotter than just straight fire right now, it's Joey Gallo. 11 home runs his last 55 at bats. He has this mini home run derby with Matt Olson yesterday. A's players walk off the field and give interviews. A's pitcher Chris Bassett says, "Oldie is dang good at BP, but honestly, we have to get lucky to beat Joey Gallo." Give me all the Joey Gallo bets.
You've gone so deep. You're scouting quotes for the home run derby out of batting practice. BJ, can you please save us from Collin Wilson's rabbit hole?
Well, according to Chris Bassett, I'm going to have to get lucky with my pick because I'm going to go Matt Olson at plus 525. Listen, Olson doesn't have the numbers that Gallo or Ohtani does, but he's still in the top half of this field in expected home runs, run value from the heart of the strike zone, and launch angle. He's not going to have to change his swing for the home run because he's mainly a fly ball hitter as his fly ball rate is around 45%. He's also on the easier side of the bracket. He's got a really favorable matchup in the first round against Trey Mancini, and he wouldn't have to face Shohei Ohtani or Pete Alonso until the final round. So I'm going to try to get lucky here, Chad, and take Matt Olson at plus 525.
All right, so Collins and Joey Gallo, BJ's on Matt Olson. Zerillo, before you give me your pick, Colin just said something really interesting when he was talking about launch angle, when he was talking about how players think about their swings during the home run derby. No one is deeper into the math of baseball. In an analytics loving sport, you know more than anybody. Explain to me, have you done the research on what happens after players in the home run derby and how that affects their second half of the year?
I mean, generally speaking, if you're making it to the home run derby, it means you performed well in the first half. And just by nature of regression, these players are going to underperform in the second half. So I think it is somewhat tied to the fact that players are just going to naturally fall off if they had a good performance to start the year. But it has been proven that players don't really change their launch angle or change their swing, so to speak, backed up by the StatCast data from 2 years ago, relative to how they performed in the first half. So I think it's more so just players who started out really well tending to fall off later.
All right, give me your best bet. Who's your guy?
Yeah, I love the picks that Collin and BJ made. I actually have action on both Gallo and Olson, but my favorite bet on the board, my favorite value play is Salvador Perez at plus 1250. Don't really think you can justify this number. I have him projected closer to plus 700, so I think there's a ton of value there. Rates really high in a few important key metrics. Second in expected home runs beyond Ohtani. Second in this field in average exit velocity. And he's actually has the best hard hit rate against fastballs. If you look at how many balls he's put in the air, which have qualified as either no doubt home runs or would have been out in most parts, also second behind Ohtani with 31 balls this year. Ohtani is 37. Pete Alonso getting hot, 10 home runs since June 1st, previous home run derby champion. So I think he's getting a lot of steam for those reasons. I actually make the match between those two 51-49 in favor of Alonso. So I think there's value on Perez to upset him in the first round. If you're going that far, I think there's value on Perez to win the whole thing. So give me the first catcher to potentially win the home run derby in more than 35 years of competition. We're going to try to get Salvador Perez to the window.
All right, well, that's a really important note, right? Because right now he's at plus 1250. You're saying you see value, the real odds, what you project them to be at about plus 700, by the way. If you did that, that would put him behind Matt Olson at plus 525, before Trevor Story at plus 750. So he'd be vaulting up 3 spots ahead of where he is right now, passing Juan Soto and Trevor Story based on the numbers you're projecting. That's important. If you're looking for value, that's an important little tip right there.
And that's where he was early in the week. He's actually fallen down as we approach derby time. So I think there's money coming in on Story and some of the other long shots, but Perez is the guy who's fallen down the board a little bit.
All right, it's time to move on to our next segment, Bang, Bang, Bet. We have a spinning wheel, folks. Our contestants have no idea where the wheel is going to land, but when it does, they're going to have to make a quick decision about what prop they like and which way they think it's going to go. Collin Wilson, you are up first. Producer extraordinaire, Evan Abrams, let's spin the wheel and see where it lands. Ding, ding, ding. All right. You have a matchup prop. Please give us the matchup prop that you are going to be playing.
Yeah, I'm going to tag along to what BJ said about Matt Olson. I love Matt Olson, other than the fact that he runs into Joey Gallo, but the swing is there. The A's organization loves him. And, he just and really against Mancini, I think this is the easiest first round bet that you can make. From a statistical perspective, Mancini has the lowest average exit velocity, the second lowest launch angle of all the competitors. Olson has better numbers than Mancini in barrel percentage, X home runs. If recent performance dictates anything for the Derby, Mancini's had just 4 home runs since Memorial Weekend, and Matt Olson had 2 yesterday. So, I think one thing we haven't discussed yet is the pitchers. The biggest handicap of a home run derby is who's throwing to them. We all know Shohei Ohtani has the Angels bullpen catcher throwing to him and his interpreter catching for him. Pete Alonso's not using his cousin from 2 years ago when he won. He's using a pitching coach. So it's important to know that Olson is going to be used Eric Martins. He's the A's hitting coach, considered one of the best BP throwers in all of MLB. Mancini is going to be thrown to by the pitching coach of his alumni, Notre Dame. And the reason behind this is, it's crazy to me, the reason behind this is that Trey Mancini won this from Chuck Cristano. He's the pitcher from Notre Dame, the pitching coach from Notre Dame. He won the Big East Home Run Derby title in 2012. Perfect reason to bring him up to call him to Colorado almost a decade later and have him throw. I think Olson over Mancini is the easiest first round bet.
I am truly astonished that you know who is considered the best bullpen pitching coach in Major League Baseball.
Well, I mean, listen, we've had people show up and have their brothers or cousins, their fathers, their people they don't even know. Listen, you want somebody that is throwing it to the same spot every time in your hottest part of your zone to hit home runs. That is exactly what Matt Olson has tonight going for him. Trey Mancini kind of has the opposite. Like somebody hasn't seen in 10 years throwing the ball. It makes it too easy.
All right. Time to spin the wheel again. BJ Cunningham, you are next contestant. Let's see what we get. Longest home run. BJ Cunningham, where do you land there?
I'm going to go with Trey Mancini under 492 and a half feet. Like Collin said, he's got the lowest average exit velocity of anybody in the field. He's actually in the 32nd percentile among all Major League Baseball players. He's also going to have to change his swing for the home run derby because he's mainly a line driving ground ball hitter, as his fly ball rate for his career is only around 30%. So it's going to be really difficult for him to measure home runs at Coors Field. And like Collin already mentioned, he's got a really difficult matchup in the first round, so I don't like his chances to hit this over if he only has one round to do it.
All right. Man, I thought there'd be more love for Trey Mancini from this group in the home run derby betting spectacular. Zerillo, you're up last. Let's spin the wheel one more time, please, Evan Abrams. And we land on AL or NL to win the home run derby, Sean Zerillo.
Oh, perfect. This is my favorite bet on the evening chat. I have an uncomfortable amount of money wagered on this home run derby, and I have more money on this prop than anything else. Man, I really like the AL in this spot. They have 5 of the 8 hitters in the field, so obviously advantage in numbers. But if Trevor Story loses his first round matchup to Joey Gallo, the AL is guaranteed to have a hitter in the finals because the 2 hitters on the other side of that bracket are both in the American League. 4 of my top 5 projected hitters in this derby all reside in the American League. I've got their chances combined projected at 68%, which is about minus 212 in terms of implied odds. I really like the value on the AL. If I was going to pick guys blindly, and I kind of did, Joey Gallo and Matt Olson were my original thoughts for this derby. Have bets on both of them. Have a bet on Perez as well. Then I get the favorite with Ohtani too. This is easy bet to me. Have to take the American League here.
All right, so that's great. I love that you're going with the American League. And by the way, later in the show, we're going to talk about your guys' best bets for MLB All-Star. We'll see if there's a pattern developing based on what you're saying right now about tonight's home run derby. All right, let's get to the final segment. This is when we fade the public. And what we mean by that is you guys watching, you know nothing. We are the professionals. So we put a poll out into this Twitter space and we ask, will Ohtani hit a 500-foot home run tonight? Public says yes. Nearly 70% of you say he will hit over a 500-foot home run tonight. Collin, what say you?
Listen, maybe it's a sucker bet to go over. You can count me in swimming with the fish with the public with the 70% because this, I know he doesn't take batting practice. And I know there are rumors out there about how great he was in this 2016 home run derby that happened across the sea. But this is the guy that has the highest average exit velocity, a barrel percentage of 25%. That's insane. And he has the longest average distance home run, better than Joey Gallo, than anybody in this field. Count me in. Ohtani's going to go crazy in that first round against Juan Soto.
All right, BJ, the public says over 500 for Ohtani. Collin Wilson is going with the public. What say you?
Yeah, I guess I'll be a donkey and go with the public as well. I mean, Otani's numbers are unbelievable this season, but there's a real factor here that I think people aren't considering is that he actually has the highest opposite field percentage of anybody in the Derby. And Chad, the wind is going to be changing throughout the night. It's going to start blowing from right field to left field at about 7 o'clock local time. The wind is going to change and start blowing 8 miles per hour straight out to left field. So Otani could really hit his longest home run to any part of the park. So I guess I'm going with the public here, and I'll also take over 500 feet.
All right. Collin Wilson's a fish. He's going with the public. BJ is a donkey. He's going with the public. Zerillo, are you adding any animals to this zoo and going with the public?
Let's go with the full kibosh on Shohei Ohtani. Have to go with the public and the over here. I'm not sure if these guys mentioned it, but they broke the humidor intentionally in Colorado tonight. They shut that thing off, threw it away. They said, we want absolute moonshots. Who knows? Maybe they even break out the old baseballs too. Gives them some extra distance. Have to go over on Ohtani here. Longest home run this year, 470 feet. It's tied for the 5th highest in baseball. Add some Coors Field to that mix. Take out the humidor. He's going over 500 feet, not once, but multiple times.
Oh my goodness. You didn't really name an animal that you felt was appropriate, but you did go kibosh. And anytime we can get that in, and dingers and bombs, I think we're having a blast off of a show, a blast off of a first show. You guys get it? Blast off of first show. Right.
Yeah.
But there's no Astros in the All-Star game, so we can't say blast off, right?
Come on now, Collin. We're celebrating the All-Star week. Okay. Recap graphic. Here we go. Let's bring it up. I want to show everybody what we're doing. Collin, you're on Joey Gallo plus 350. You're on Matt Olson minus 265 over Trey Mancini as a matchup. You're on Ohtani over 499.5 feet. BJ, you're on Matt Olson to win the home run derby. He's at what? Plus 525, I think. You're on Mancini, Trey Mancini under 492.5 feet for his longest home run. You're also on Ohtani over 499.5 feet. Zerillo, you're on Salvador Perez. I think he's at plus 1250, we decided, to win the derby. You're on the AL, wins the home run derby at minus 195. You're also on Ohtani over 499.5 feet. Before we go, I do want to poll each of you. The All-Star game is tomorrow night. Midsummer Classic. Please give me your All-Star game bets. Collin, I will start with you.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the National League. I've already actually got it put in the Action Network app, the award-winning Action Network app. If you're new to handicapping Major League Baseball, it all starts with starting pitching. Then you go to the bullpen stats, and that's how you start to make data to make money line and run line projections. There are better splits across the board for the NL, even considering Jacob deGrom will not be pitching. On the AL side, Garrett Cole isn't coming out after that 129 pitch performance. Yusei Kukichi is have COVID-19 protocols. Not sure he's even going to be in the dugout. Ryan Presley is one of many Astros. It's just not going to be there. Gregory Soto allowed 3 hits yesterday and only recorded 1 out. For the Tigers, even with Woodruff and Gausman pitching, Sunday, the NL still has a better stable of pitchers, and that's what you should bet on.
All right, BJ, tell me something.
Well, Chad, it's usually a good idea to agree with Collin Wilson, and I'm going to do it here. I'm going to take the National League money line as well. The offensive matchup is actually pretty even. The average weighted on base average is around 380 for both the AL and the NL, but the NL has an average xERA of 2.67, while the AL only has 2.85. Some of the opt-outs for the AL, like Carlos Correa and Jose Altuve, doesn't help their case on offense. So I think there's value on the National League, and I'd play anything up to minus 115.
Sean Zerillo, are we going to get a sweep? Who do you like in the All-Star game tomorrow night?
Yeah, we put the kibosh on Ohtani. We're going to put the kibosh on the National League here too. Bet the under on Ohtani, bet the American League. I made the National League minus 130 favorites. I think they have advantages across the board, even after all those players were replaced on both sides of the game. Have their offense 0.2 of a run better, starting offense, the backup reserve players, 1/10 of a run better per 9 innings. Starting rotation, bullpen actually make the National League 1/10 of a run better too. And then even defensively, have the National League 9% above average, American League 3% below. So advantages across the board for the National League. Give me the National League up to minus 120. Made that line minus 130.
All right. Everybody's on Ohtani over 499.5 feet tonight. Everyone's going to be on the National League tomorrow. Hopefully you're all watching Payoff Pitch right now because the home run derby starts in about 40 minutes. Plenty of time to get your bets in. We will be back next Monday night and every Monday night through the rest of the season. This is Payoff Pitch from the Action Network, presented by DraftKings. For Collin Wilson, for BJ Cunningham, for Sean Zerillo, I am Chad Millman. Enjoy the games, folks.